Welcome, this is Chris B, otherwise known as Bystander X89, and today's deck profile video is a absolute favorite of mine. Blue Eyes White Dragon. Alright. This monster has always been a fan favorite for a lot of people since the OG days. I myself have had a Blue Eyes deck built for casual play since the beginning. Since I got my first Kaiba starter deck. With the advent of Shining Victories and the reprints we got in the Legendary Collection Kaiba, I thought it'd be prudent that I do a deck video for this deck. And I can tell you right now, it's damn awesome. Alright, so we're just going to get into this. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you is the level 8 dragon. So of course, just like my boy Kaiba, you gotta turn around, run 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. You can't have a deck without 3 of these in it, so you gotta run 3. There's tons of different artworks out there. This particular artwork actually was released in the movie pack that was released in July of 2016, if memory serves me correctly. Okay. Although I didn't get that movie until maybe like a year later. Alright, next card. 3 copies of Dragon Spirit of the White. Now the one thing I love about this card is that whenever it's summoned, you banish a spell or trap card off the field. It's considered a normal type monster while on the field or in a graveyard, and you can even tribute it to summon out a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. This card is extremely awesome, especially with the way the metagame has been shaped. I've always loved running this card at particular card, Dragon Spirit White, at 3 copies because it gets rid of spells and traps. It helps deal with the Pendulum deck situation very easily. Next card. I only run 2 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, and the reason why is I kind of always find this card cloggy in my hand. To be very honest, I've only gotten 2 of these cards out at once, and really 2 is all you really need of this card on the field. And if you can put more than 1 on the field, good for you, but you really don't need more than 2 on the field to keep the field under control. So that's it for my level 8s. Now you may have noticed my ratios are a bit different because my deck in particular does not follow the traditional norms of the Blue Eyes decks. Alright. But there are things that I do follow, and one of them is 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blues. Basically, normal summon it, search your deck for a level 1 Line of Tribute Tuner monster. Practically all the level 1 Line of Tribute Tuner monsters here fit the bill, so there's a lot you can search out of. You have a lot of different choices. Alright. Or you can discard this card, target 1 effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, normal summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Okay, so in a way, you can actually turn around and get things going pretty easily with this card. Hence why it's at 3 copies. Alright, now another card. This is one card that I've always been keeping in my Blue Eyes deck since it was released in the Blue Eyes Structure deck, and that was Maiden with Eyes of Blue. I love this card so much because it gives access to the deck and graveyard and hand so easily. It helps unclog your hand, then your deck. I mean, it's so amazing. Why is it so amazing? Whenever this card is attacked by your opponent's monster, it goes to defense mode and it gets the attack. Good. So far, so good. It gets even better. When you do all that, you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So good. It puts a weak monster into defense mode. It gets you a big boss monster to protect it, and it even sets up future plays. Now, the other cool thing about it is that it has a second effect. If it's ever targeted by a card effect, whether it be your own or your opponent's, you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So one way or another, this card alone is going to be getting you a lot of monsters on the field. Which is why I like having this card in my deck. Alright, now one card that I've actually been turned on to with this happens to be Masters with Eyes of Blue. Masters is actually something that I was kind of on the fence on for a while, until I actually started playing with him. He actually became a very useful tool card for me to use. Whenever it's normal summoned, you select one of your level 1 light attribute tuner monsters in your graveyard and you add it to your hand. Alright, so when it's normal summoned, good news is that you turn around and you can actually, get something back. So we can actually get you your level 1 tuner monsters like Whitestone of Ancients back into your hand, or Whitestone of Legends back into your hand to actually be able to keep something like Cards of Reconnaissance live. Other thing is that when it's in your graveyard, you can shuffle back into your deck, send one of your Blue Eyes monsters from your field to your deck and special summon another one. I mean, to your graveyard. Field to the graveyard, and then you can special summon another one, which is actually pretty decent. So, alright. And another light tuner spellcaster that I have is Effect Veiler. Now, Effect Veiler is becoming a lot more meta relevant because it blocks monster effects from going off. The other good thing about it is that it's a level 1 light attribute tuner, and you can just get it onto the field to help you in a pinch. So it helps fill both roles. One last spellcast I'm going to show you is a new card that was in the Legendary Collection Taiba, the King of D. Counts as Lord of D on the field, but you can actually basically discard one spell or trap card from your hand, search your deck for the Flute of Summoning Dragon, the Melody of Awakened Dragon, or Dragon Revival Rhapsody, and add it into your hand. This is actually a great mid to late game card to have. And it can actually help unclog your hand. Now there are 4 more monsters here, and these are the level 1 tuner, light attribute tuner dragons. I mentioned this one before. Whitestone of Ancients. Basically, whenever it's into the graveyard during a turn it's sent, you get a special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck right to your field. And then you can actually banish this card and add a Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard to your hand. Both effects are kind of handy. For one thing, if your opponent you send this card to the graveyard during your first turn, you don't summon anything else, you can actually, and your opponent thinks, alright, you're not going to have anything, but you bring out a Blue Eyes monster on turn 1 to help you out. So you do have a big monster on the field. It helps keep trading alive by recycling out cards you might not be able to need. Alright. Last card is the single copy of Whitestone Legend. Whenever this card is sent to the graveyard, you basically search your deck for a Blue Eyes White Dragon and add it to your hand. Pretty awesome card to have. Alright, so that's it for the main deck monsters. On to the spells. Now the spells I broke down into several categories. There are your engine cards, your draw power, and then you have your recursion cards. Now the first engine card I'm going to show you is this. 3 copies of Dragon's Ravine. I love this card as an engine card. The reason why I play it at 3 is because you want to see it, since this deck doesn't run terraforming. And the best part about it is it can help unclog your hand by discarding any card from it, and then you can actually send a Dragon-type monster from your deck to your graveyard. So you're basically unclogging your hand and loading your graveyard at the same time. It's a huge boon card for the deck, and it helps get things going. Alright, so if you don't see this in your hand, you're going to want to see this. One of the 3 copies of Dragon Shrine. Dragon Shrine is basically the Foolish Burial card for Dragon-type decks. Basically, you send one Dragon-type monster to your graveyard, and if that card is considered a normal monster in your graveyard, you can send one more. One play that I love to turn around and do is to send a Dragon Spirit of the White to the graveyard to send a Whitestone of Ancients right after it. It's an awesome card. It should always be at 3. Alright, so now on to your draw power. I've mentioned both of these cards when I was talking about certain monsters. I have Card of Reconnaissance. Discard a level 1 Dragon type tuner monster. You have 4 of them in your deck. You draw 2 cards. Alright, and all of them have effects that go off when they're in the graveyard. So, awesome card to have. And then, of course, we got triple trade-in, which will turn around and just basically pitch a level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. Awesome. Alright. Now for the recursion cards. 2 copies of Dragon Revival Rhapsody. Couple things about this card. First, you need a spellcaster on the field in order for you to activate it. So that's why we have those level 1 tuners and the King of D in there. What this does is that allows you to bring back 2 Dragon type monsters. One of them having to be a normal type monster. So you bring either the original Blue Eyes or Dragon Spirit of the White back, plus something else. And you can actually just fill your fields and continue your plays. This card does prevent your opponent from receiving any damage during your turn. During that turn it's played. But the thing about it is that you're bringing back some big monsters. You might not be able to damage your opponent, but you can still take them off the board by attacking. So it doesn't hurt your turn that much. Alright. Next card, of course, you gotta run Monster Reborn. Bring back the monster from the graveyard. I mean, Blue Eyes is OG monster. You gotta have the OG revival spell. So another cool card that actually came out in one of the reloaded structure decks is Return of the Dragon Lords. Allows you to bring back a level 7 or level 8 Dragon type monster from your graveyard, which is cool. It also has an in-graveyard effect, which is a quick effect. Basically, if any of your Dragon type monsters would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish it and basically protect them. It's actually a very useful 2 card to have. Any Dragon deck should be running 3 copies of this. Alright. Mentioned this with talking about Dragon Spirit of the Light. Silver Scry, I run 3 copies of this guy, basically because it's a quick play spell, so you can actually bring back normal monsters or monsters considered normal to be normal monsters back onto the field during your opponent's turn. I can tell you, with the way Pendulum Magicians are big now, this card is a huge boom because you keep bringing it back and keep taking their scales off the field. Alright, last but not least, good old Soul Charge. Basically, bring back as many monsters as you want, pay 1,000 life points per monsters, and you can just either rebuild your field or just continue your plays. This card is actually very great on turn 1. Opening up with this in your hand on turn 1, you basically open up with some serious nuts. Alright, so that's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. Now, the extra deck is basically divided into 3 parts. The first part is the Synchros, the second part Ixies, and the third part Links. It's pretty standard with the extra deck. 1 copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon, 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, bounces stuff off the field. Whenever it's summoned or a level 5 or higher monster is summoned in its place. Compulsory evacuation from the device. Ancient Fairy can get you extra special summon per turn and helps with the field spells as well. So, then out the deck. Of course, you have Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Basically, you make one of these 2 cards, bring out one of the level 1 tuner monsters. If you haven't used do normal summon, or if you need to use special summon on Ancient Fairy, and you synchro that to go into this. Basically, whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, it can negate it and destroy that monster, and if it battles a monster that's level 5 or higher, it adds that monster's attack points to its own, and you swing over it. Very good monster to have in this deck. And of course, level 9 Synchros, Azure Eye, Silver Dragon, a great defensive wall. Whenever it's summoned to the field, Dragon-type monsters can't be destroyed by card effects, including your own. And once per turn, you're getting, during your semi-phase, you're getting a normal type monster back onto the field. Okay, great way to get Dragon Spirit of the White back on the field and keep banishing all spell and trap cards. And of course, another great card to have here is 2 copies of Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. Oh, I can't tell you how good this card is. It really hurts Pendulum decks very well because they can't special summon more than 1 monster at a time. It can bounce itself on the field, off the field to bring out another level 7 or level 8 light attribute Dragon Seeker monster, and it prevents the effects of dark attribute monsters from going off in the graveyard. So many good effects on that one card. Alright, for the Xyz monsters, we have number 38, Hope Harbinger, Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Awesome card. Basically, while this card sits on the field with 2 level 8s attached to it, you basically can turn on the gate that activations of spell cards and then turn those spell cards into overlay units for this monster's effect. You could also use this monster's effect, take away overlay unit to basically redirect that attack to itself. Great way to protect some old, you know. Then of course we have Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon. Still a bonus monster. It basically becomes that the monster you steal basically becomes Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon by name. Gets 3,000 attack points. When you ever use this effect, only this card can attack your opponent's life points by directly. But since you're gonna have 2 monsters with the same name, guess what happens? You're gonna hit them twice. All right, but typically we use those rank 8. We usually use the Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon for rank 8 to build into other Galaxy Eyes, like Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Full-Time Dragon, which allows you to pop a card on the field by attaching an overlay unit. And then you can actually build it into another one, which is Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon, which basically does the same thing. And last but not least, you have number 95 Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. This card can actually help fill up your graveyard and banish stuff out of your opponents. It's actually a great playmaker if you want to go into it. Okay, Link monsters. I have 3. The Jump Promo Link Kuriboh gets made from a level 1 monster. We got plenty of those in there, so and it can actually it can actually turn around and protect your guys by sacrificing it by tripping itself. So it's a pretty good card. Underclock Taker. Basically, anything that you target one card you control, and then one card your opponent control, or one card that this card points to, and then one card your opponent controls, and basically your opponent's monster loses attack points equal to the one that it points to, which is actually pretty cool. Allows you to swing over stuff. And of course, you have Deco Tarker. Fill this guy's zones up. It becomes stronger. Contribute stuff off you don't need to protect itself. But all in all, it's actually a great Link 3 monster to have. Alright, so those are the Link monsters. That's the deck profile. So, alright, as you can see, my deck is a bit more graveyard based than more traditional builds that use other means to get along. I find my build just to be as great and competitive as before. Yes, the Blue Eyes decks do have that whole bricky thing going, but with my build, I can actually play out of it and still build up a field. All right, and if as you play through it, you'll realize that my version of the deck actually does have the same plays that the more traditional builds have as well. So, with that being said, like the video, thumbs up, love the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I throw up new videos. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.